Solo P1, welcome to F1 2025, round 10, Canadian Grand Prix. This is the Debrief 56, episode 56. And for everybody who's listening on the audio, this is for audio podcast, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening to your podcast. Remember to recommend this podcast to your family and friends and leave feedback as well. But for the YouTubers, you know what to do with the YouTuber. You know what to do. Smack that like button and subscribe. This is a road to 10K subscribers. We are literally on the edge of making that magical number that me and Toto Hammer has achieved. So I'm going to bring in my Coke, who's my partner in crime, Toto.
Big up, man.
How's it going, Toto? Big up. Even though we were just talking before through Zoom. But how are you anyway, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Enjoyed the race today.
Yeah,
overall,
it was very good, wasn't it?
It was. Overall, feeling well.
So, Toto Hammer. Remember, we know what to do. Hit the subscribe, everybody. Hit that subscribe. And we know how it is. So, before we start getting into this review about this Canadian Grand Prix weekend, another 2 weeks off, which I'm not really happy about, Toto.
It's not a double header.
Grand Prix for 2 weeks again.
Oh.
The next one will be Austria, which we'll talk about next week. But
I'm a fan of triple headers. I really love triple headers, man. I just love the action going forward because, of course, there's no football now. Of course, you got a Club World Cup, but to be honest with you, I'm not really interested. I just want more Formula One action, man. But it is a shame. It is a shame we've got to wait another 2 weeks, which feels like centuries. But look, we just got to take in as much as we can from every weekend going forward, really.
Yeah.
I think my thought this weekend, it's got to be a contender up there for one of the best this season.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, it's in the top five. Put it in the top five, but there's a long way to go for the season. But I know what you're saying. It was definitely interesting towards the end of the race, which we'll talk about. So, before the weekend, Lando Norris was getting interviewed by Sky Sports, and I was speaking to him about clashing with your teammate. Eventually, it's going to be you and your teammate fighting for this title. This is before the weekend, by the way, before he lost all those points. He said that you're going to be fighting with your teammate. And Lando Norris said, look, at the end of the day, we're friends now. But we both know when it comes to the time that when we're going wheel to wheel and we're fighting for the title, there's going to be no friends, which is F1. We know this. So it's funny how Lando Norris was talking about this clashing with his teammate and saying, look, it's going to happen eventually. And it happened this weekend. We're not going to talk about it yet. We're going to talk about it more at the end. But that interview, when I saw that interview, I said, look, the guy's honest. The guy's honest. A lot of drivers, when they're with the teammates, like with Lewis Hamilton, when he was friends with Max Verstappen, so-called friends before they had their rival in 2021. Once you have the rivalry in racing, you know this, Toto, as a racer, you're a karter. You've been doing this since you were young. You know, you might have friends in karting, whatever, but you know when it comes to the track, friends can be lost.
Completely different. It's all about you then. It's not about no one. That's about you scoring the points, you know. There's no point of being a nice guy and, you know, oh, yeah, I'll give you space. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. You're going to give someone barely enough room and you're going to do your best to try and fend them off. You know, we saw that between Lando and Norris. Lando and Piastri, you know, later on in the race. Of course, we'll get into more detail later, but it's exactly the same example, you know. Both of them gave each other no length, no width, no space. And eventually that happened, collided. We're going to see a lot more of that this season, definitely. Because when it comes to like the final stages or the back end of the season where they need to salvage as much points as possible, they do anything they can to win. Team orders go out the window. Like both of them are now challenging for the championship. So I wouldn't really see team orders
Okay, fair enough.
being put in place.
Yeah. So yeah, we you know, like I said, you just said you know how it goes when it comes to racing. There is no friends. So like, we're going to briefly go over to the practice session. We're going to briefly go over it, not really in depth, not really. We're just going to go over it very quickly. We know at the beginning of the weekend, McLaren announced that they brought 3 upgrades for the car. They brought a new front wing, they brought some suspension and some other stuff, little nibbly bits. I think he was talking about it at the beginning of the weekend. Ted Kravitz. We were talking about listen, when I heard about them upgrades on the McLaren car, 3 upgrades, I was thinking,
I couldn't need a 3 upgrade.
Why 3 upgrades? Because usually, this is what I think, Toto. When someone brings 3 upgrades, yeah, that means that the car's in trouble. That reminds of Mercedes in 2022 when their car was horrendous and they was always bringing upgrades and 2 to 3 upgrades every couple of months. But with the McLaren, they're the fastest car, so bringing 3 upgrades, which is a bit weird to me, Toto. What are your thoughts on that?
It was because if you see McLaren's past races, they've been getting 1-2s consistently. It's not 1-2s, 1-3s, so they've been getting consistently points every single race.
Yeah,
leading the constructors by like 200 points. They were on like the 300s, and other teams are still on the 100s. So I didn't really get the 3 upgrades. They did look a bit off this weekend, to be honest with you, compared to other weekends. They did look a bit off. Maybe it's a new upgrade, maybe it's just a shot to the car. I don't know. But they didn't really need 3 new upgrades. Not really. If it was 3 new upgrades, it's usually for the bottom teams, but no, McLaren didn't really need 3 new upgrades.
And during the practice sessions, also before we get into that, also Mercedes brought some upgrades as well. They brought a rear suspension on their car. So obviously we know how the race finished. That really helped them out. But back to McLaren again. There was tinkering with the car in practice 1 and 2, and I think in the end, Oscar Piastri ended up going back to the old concept of the car with the rear wing, and I think Lando Norris went with the new concept. So you can see how that played out in the race as we get into the race. So let's go with the first practice. Turn 4, Charles Leclerc crashed his car out of the session straight away. So that was his weekend. His weekend wasn't that good at the beginning. This is during practice 1. Charles Leclerc forfeiting practice 1 because he crashed his car, damaged his rear, and the engineers couldn't really repair the car in time. So he was effectively out of practice 1. So that's not really good for him. So into practice
2 as well.
Yeah, in practice 2, we just found out that Charles Leclerc will be out of practice 2 as well. So we couldn't make practice 2, like you just said, Toto. There you go. You said it out of practice 2 because of that crash. So that was basically from the beginning. Charles Leclerc was on the back foot. So basically, Lewis has to do the bidder test dummy, I guess, for the car. So at the end of the practice session, you had Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Norris, Albon, Piastri, and Lewis was 9th. The rules of F1 you just can't. The reason why they couldn't change the new chassis over because that's what got damaged Charles Leclerc's car. Because in the weekend you're not allowed to use 2 chassis. You're only allowed to use 1 chassis. So if you slightly damage your chassis, if you can't repair it, you can't use 2 chassis during practice session. What's your thoughts on that? I think that's just ridiculous.
Oh no, I think if the chassis is damaged, it should be able to replace it because it is going to affect their performance on the track, and of course the chassis is a really, really big component of the car. If you got a light chassis, your whole car's going to be light. If you got a heavy chassis, your car won't really perform around the straights or over the corners. The chassis are really important for the corners. So if it was damaged, it will probably affect Leclerc's performances on the circuit. To be honest with you, if there was a rule I could replace, I would replace that rule. Have a new chassis because that could affect the performance by a lot. Forget the power unit. If your chassis is not good, it's a big component of the car. It won't perform well. Definitely not.
So during practice, Lewis goes out first in the practice. Like I said, obviously he's going to be doing a lot of testing because we know Charles is not going to be in it. So Lewis goes out first, testing the car. McLaren using their old front wing. So like I said, I think he's going back to the old concept of McLaren dudes. I know Piastri did. He went back to the old front wing as well as the rear. and I was testing, and overall, it seems like it was working for them. What stood out for me in practice too is Hadjo, my G, Hadjo and his engineer coming out the pits, and other drivers getting in the way, and his engineer coming out and say they need to wear glasses. Did you catch that one? Remember? Hadjo's engineer, the G, man. I like Hadjo.
Man. There was so much traffic and no one would move out the way or on the racing line. So
I know.
Yeah, it was ridiculous in practice too.
I like Hadjo. I think he's a G. I think he just needs a little bit more time. I think he's going to be one of the best rookies. I think he is the best rookie, in my opinion.
By far.
He just hasn't got the PR behind him like Kimi Antonelli. Don't get me wrong, Kimi Antonelli is a generational talent, but why can't Hadjo be as well? Practice 3, Rosberg and Carew both agreed that Max should have got a bigger penalty regarding the Spain. So first time ever that Carew turned on Max. He said that Max should have got a bit of penalty. Rosberg was consistent about it. As soon as it happened, when he rammed into George, he said he should have got a black flag. And then this is what they were discussing before practice. Oh, this is during practice 3. So practice 3, look, first brush of the world champions was Piastri. Piastri was the first one to brush the wall. Didn't really damage his car. A little bit of bits come off his car. I don't think it hampered him that much, but he was the first one to brush. Actually, it was Nico Hülkenberg, actually. Then, because they showed Piastri first, and then they rewound it back, and it was Hülkenberg that brushed the wall first. So we know that famous wall of champions, majority of the time someone's going to hit it. But for some reason, these cars, not so much now, is it? We're seeing less cars now hitting the wall of champions.
Yeah. Well, that probably show that, the aerodynamics of the cars are improving around the corners. The cars are getting smaller every year. That's what they're aiming for. Yeah, the regulations. The cars are getting smaller every year.
From next year, actually. They have made them a little bit smaller. Next year, they're going to start to get smaller.
Yeah, so the aerodynamics of the car definitely improving. The cornering speed, and the cars are getting smaller, so less chance of hitting the wall of champion. Of course, you can still hit it if you have an absolute shock of a corner. If you lock up or you have understeer and you slip, you can still hit the wall champion. Probably less of a chance as the cars are smaller, isn't it?
Yeah, facts. So at the end of that, where they cleaned up, they brought out the flag, the red flag. They was cleaning up the track. Never took them long. Looked like they had a Henry Hoover out, to be fair. Hoovering up all the debris. They must have got one of them Henry Hoovers. Looked like it anyway. So Norris at the end of practice, Henry Hoover, at the end of practice, he had Norris, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Verstappen. That was a finish. Basically, all of them are going to be in contempt for qualifying by this point. So qualifying, let's start on qualifying session now. Before we get on qualifying session, remember, guys, if you're watching this on the replay, if you're listening on the audio, remember, YouTubers, hit that subscribe button. It's the road to 10K subscribers. And for people listening on the audio, the Spotify, the Amazon, and the Stitcher, remember to recommend this audio to your family and friends and leave feedback, because when you do leave the feedback, it really helps out the channel and the YouTube channel as well. So let's move on to qualifying total. We know the front grid. No, we're not yet. We're going to get into that. I just gave it away then. So Oscar running the old suspension, like I told you at the beginning of the video. Lando's running the new one. So this, we're going to find out who was the clever one. Who should have stayed with the old concept, or who should have went with the new concept. So both of them are running opposite wings. Lewis was running a new suspension as well, like I alluded at the beginning. First run, Max goes the fastest, got a 1:12.2. So Max Verstappen kind of flexing his wings, Max Verstappen's been like that all season. Not so good in the practice session, but when it comes to the qualifying session, boom. So when you saw this with Max Verstappen getting a 1:12.2, what was your thoughts on it? Sandbagging?
Max is definitely in contention for pole.
Yeah. You think he was sandbagging? I thought he was in practice anyway.
Yeah. It was a flashback from him last year, isn't it? Verstappen in contention for pole. Of course, Russell in contention for pole as well. What was really interesting with this qualifying is that usually the soft tyres was like the best tyre, the fastest tyre. That what everyone tend to go for that one lap pace, but it seems like the mediums are the best. The track temperature was 50 degrees, so the soft tyres would be quite prone to tyre wear and graining, because since the track temperature is that high, it's going to be really, really hard for the soft tyres to cope. It's a lot thinner tyre, so it will be more prone to graining since the temperature. which is interesting. Medium tyres were the best for this weekend, and Max was definitely in contention for pole.
So as Max Verstappen got that pole, not pole, what I'm talking about. As Max Verstappen got the 1:12.2, straight after that, Yuki Tsunoda gets a 10-second time penalty for passing Piastri on the red flag. So again, Piastri's, Tsunoda's weekend, again, going from worse to worse, from bad to worse, I'd say. So the medium tyres, Alonso goes up, and the drivers say medium tyres, they seem to be the best, like you just said, Toto. The medium tyres were the best, in my opinion, in the qualifying. I think that if they would have put the soft tyres on, I thought they would have grained up before we got to the end, so they wouldn't have got the maximum speed out of the car. So the red flag come out again. Albon's engine cover just exploded. Did you see that, Toto?
Yeah.
What did you think of that when you saw that explode? I thought there was a bomb in it. What's going on?
He was driving normally, and soon as he reached the apex, the engine cover went off.
They said it was air in there as well.
I think it probably weren't screwed on properly, and they had a chance to repair that, because it eventually did go through. But yeah, it was weird. It was weird how it just came off. Probably weren't screwed on properly, so. They definitely have a spare engine cover in the back somewhere, which they did. But yeah, definitely weren't screwed on properly, because that was weird how that happened.
Yeah, weird. So, we're going to the red flag. That brought out the red flag. Like I said, debris everywhere. They had to come out with the Henry Hoover, started hoovering everything up, like I said before. There was 5 minutes left when the steward stopped. The what do they call them again? The ones on the side. I forgot they're called. They're not the stewards. The marshals. By the way, they don't get paid. By the way, big up to the marshals. FIA should pay them.
It's just lovely sport.
Yeah, but they don't. Yeah, but they should get paid because they put their life in danger. They're doing it for free. They should get paid. I was talking about it on Sky yesterday, saying that they should get paid. The FIA in Rosberg said the FIA are rich enough. They should pay the marshals. I don't understand why they don't pay them. There's loads of money left over. What champagne and caviar. There's not enough to pay the marshals, even a couple of £100 a day. You get me? It's nothing. But anyway, Norris goes first using another set of soft tyres. So he's using another set of soft tyres. So that's when he goes to the Q2, that might hamper him a bit, because he might have to do 2 fastest lap on the same tyres. So he puts on the reason why he done that, because he bottled it. No, he never. Norris goes first using another set of soft tyres. That might hamper him later, but in the Q3 session. So he goes a 1:11. So he goes right to the top. Hajar through to Q3, got through to Q2. Big up to Hajar, soldier. Big up to Hajar, man, getting through to Q2. Albon through, and Sainz was out. Sainz was blaming, I think he got in his way, Hajar. So he said that Hajar got in his way and he compromised the lap, which I think he did. So in the end, down the road, Hajar got a grid penalty for hampering Sainz in the qualifying. So Sainz was out of Q1. And 5-second time penalty, Sainz. Now, everybody reckoned he was going to get a 5-second time penalty, Hajar, but I think he got 10. So Q2, Max comes out again first, gets a 1:11.6, and that was Max Verstappen's first run. So we're kind of seeing a pattern here now that Max Verstappen, he just wants to come out first and clear air. Doesn't want to get involved. He knows it's a small track. He knows there's a chance of getting impeding. So we done the smart thing and come out first. So what was your thinking then when you saw that when he done that and he got the 1:11.6? So obviously
it was clever. It foreshadows that he's going to be in pole contention.
Yeah.
But it was clever of him to go out first, because all weekend, even in the practice sessions, we see people getting involved with traffic, trying to get a lap time. When people are on race runs, you see people trying, moving out the way. There's a lot of back markers. We also saw it in the race as well. Even qualifying, all race, we saw traffic, back markers, practice, traffic, back markers. It was all weekend. So yeah, it was a clever move to go out first. I'm surprised not a lot of drivers did that. But if a lot of drivers thought the same thing, everyone will come out at the same time.
Exactly. I was about to say that, but I know what you're saying now.
So yeah, it was clever of him. He blinked first, and it worked, didn't it?
Yeah. So Max gets a 1:11. I'm not sure what the the times where for Q2. Let me try and get through so I can find it. I've got the ones that went out in in qualifying too, but I'm not sure who. Let me go on the website and I'll find out. Bear with me.
If you're
Results.
watching the replay, guys, hit the likes, hit the subscribes. We'll really appreciate it as well. Of course, this is also go on the audio podcast. Just go on the link tree in the description of the channel, and
There you go.
get linked to the podcast.
So in Q2, Russell got first. I'm trying to get the Q2 results. Practice, no, not practice 2. I'm going to get qualifying. In qualifying 2, at the end of qualifying 2, the ones that went out, because I've got my notes here, the ones that went out was Yuki Tsunoda, he got 11th, Franco Colapinto, Nico Hulkenberg, Oliver Bierman, and Esteban Ocon. They're the ones that went out in Q2. So Max got the fastest lap in Q1. So Q3 starts now. So Max Verstappen again comes out again and gets a 1 minute 11.2. So Max Verstappen stumps his foot and said, right, I'm going out again and I'm going to get the fastest lap. So at this point total, I thought that Max was going to get pole. I thought he was going to get pole. I thought he was sandbagging through practice. He showed a bit of speed at the end of practice 3. I thought Max was going to get pole.
Yeah, the Red Bull of Max Verstappen did look good all weekend. I gotta say, practice 1, getting pole. Not pole, but practice 1, he did get the fastest time. Practice 3, he was hanging about in 5th, and practice 2, he was hanging about in around, say 9th. Yeah, about 8th and 9th position he was hanging about in practice 3. So look, the Red Bull did look like a good car. Of course, not in practice 2 and 3, but practice 1 he looked amazing. Probably didn't want to show his hand too early. Similar tactic that Mercedes used to do in the domination, what Lewis used to do. He never used to show his hand in practice 1, 2. They let Bottas show his hand. Bottas usually get the fastest time, but Lewis used to always. I'm not comparing them, by the way. I'm just saying it's a similar tactic to what Lewis used to use back in Mercedes days. Don't show your hand when it comes to qualifying. Q1, Q2, slowly build up the engine, and as soon as it hits Q3, just all out. And Max was doing a similar thing. He just wanted to put out a statement, didn't he? Because let's face it, the only time Max is going to get any sort of sniff for victory is getting a good qualifying. Because in the qualifying, Red Bull for some reason had good quality pace. Verstappen has good quality pace.
But he's good. I think he sandbags in the practice. But if you look at the practice 3, right at the end, you start seeing a bit of pace. But he got the 1 minute 11.12, which was very impressive. And I thought, he's probably going to get it now. So Norris goes through his stint. You want to talk about the Norris one? Norris goes and bottles it in the first stint over the chicane by the Wall of Champions.
Yeah. So, he was on a good lap as well, to be fair. Lando Norris. But look, that corner is catch so many people out.
Yeah.
It's so fast. You have to have fast reaction time to hit those apexes that come out quick and fast. So it is a hard corner to get through. But I'm sure Norris, that was just a stupid mistake in my opinion. He should have made that corner. He was on a good lap. It could have been a lap of the qualifying, but. It was a shame. It was a shame for Norris.
Norris had his chance, bottled it. Second run, Charles messed up getting into Hadjar's dirty air. He was getting into Hadjar's dirty air. Nothing really could do because Hadjar was on his slow down lap. Max got top time, then Russell tipped him right at the end. So it was Russell got pole, second was Max Verstappen, and third was Kimi Antonelli. So the race there, let's go. Good start from George. Brilliant start from George. Max retains second. Kimi Antonelli passes Piastri into third. I don't think Piastri thought that much because he knows further down the road he's going to catch him up. So that was that. So at the beginning, you had George in front, Max second, Kimi Antonelli third, fourth, Piastri. Lap 13, Kimi catching Max. Just about to pass Max on the straight just before he was just about to pass him. And this is 1 and 3 times, by the way. He was just about to patch it and pass him, and Figgy goes into the pits. Max goes into the pits, puts a hard tires on, and that was him. Then he was on the back foot. As soon as Max went into that pits, I thought then you're not winning the race. You're coming too early.
Max made a huge mistake.
So what Russell did, which he didn't need to do, by the way, because Russell was in front, he had the clear air. Russell came in the lap after, lap 14, pits, lap 14, plan A. We want plan A. I'm talking about McLaren now. Plan A, we want you to have a good race today. He was talking to Lando Norris's engineer. Plan A. So lap 14, so we thought, look, it's going to be a two-stopper. No, it's going to be a one-stopper, because I think by that point of the race, before we knew anything about the tire degradation regarding Lando's car, he thought at that time he could probably do a one-stop. That's why he said plan A. Plan A is good. So Kimi pits, lap 16. Lewis pits as well on the hard tires. Lewis was in no man's land today, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, so Piastri pits at lap 17 as well. Lando started on the hard tires, which indicated that he was going to go for a one-stop. That's why I thought he was going to go for a one-stop when his engineer told him to say, we have a good race. Because there are some people started on the medium tires. Lando was clever, started on the hard tires. So Charles' engineer said to him, plan B. Charles said, no, plan C. Plan C was the one-stop. Plan B was the two-stop. So they both got conflicted. They both got mixed up because Charles says, no, plan C. And then his engineer said, oh, plan C. But he didn't say to him, no, we're going to do plan B. He wasn't firm enough. He just had a little joke with him, and I thought that's where they messed up Ferrari. Lap 26, George passes Charles at lap 27. And then Charles pitted too early to come in.
I don't know what it is yet. If Ferrari had any sense, it will put them on the alternate compound, which is the mandatory start on the hard, go to medium, go on the medium, go to hard. They went hard, which, there's no problem with that. That's the thing, is it will force you to pit again. But I think over would have messed up the strategy anyway.
Charles could have stayed out a bit longer.
For a one-stopper, maybe. But in a way, the hards were, wearing off towards the end. A one-stopper was possible, but
I think it was.
I think teams are trying to play it safe because the track temperature is 50 degrees, and it's going to be really, really prone to graining with any tyre. Hards, of course, got more durability. They're medium and stuff, so I reckon Ferrari wanted to go a bit too safe and go for the hards. But I think what's Ferrari got to lose? Go for it, man. Start on the mediums at the start, or maybe the hards. Go as long as possible, whack the mediums towards the end, and try to go to the end. That's what Ferrari should have maybe done. But look, you know what Ferrari's like.
So lap 30, Lando. This is when I thought Lando probably wasn't going to do a one-stop. Lap 30. Lando put the medium tires on it, and then the guy says, what? I said, what? I thought it was going to be a one-stopper, but we knew by then lap 30, when he came in and put the medium tires, that he was going to come in again. And basically, when he come out, his engineer said to him, be careful and be gentle in turn 6 and turn 8. That's where, this is regarding Alonso now. He said to Alonso, be careful in turn 6 and turn 8. And Alonso responded in Alonso way. He said, it's not testing, it's racing. And that's it, very simple, nothing else. So lap 38, Kimi's catching Max again for the second time in the race. And guess what happened? Max pitted, put the hard tyres on because he knew Kimi was going to catch him. Lap 39, I think this is where Mercedes made a mistake. Lap 39, Kimi pitted, came out behind Max. It was so close. The lap after Max Verstappen pitted, he pitted, and I thought that's where Kimi Antonelli made a mistake. If he would have stayed at 2 more laps, because there was no one in front of him, he had clear air. If he would have just stayed at 2 more laps, get 2 fast laps in, then come in, he would have made it clearly in front of Max.
Max knew what he was doing because he pitted in to break the DRS range. Because the more Antonelli has DRS, the more time he'll gain for potential.
I'll get that part about that's why he came into the pits and to break the deal. I get it. But when Kimi Antonelli came out of the pits, he come out the pits neck and neck with Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Neck and neck. Now, if he would have stayed out at 2 more laps, and because he had the clear hair, because remember, his tyres were 5 laps younger than Max's, so he didn't need to come in. He could have come and done 2 more laps, try and get a fast lap in, then come in, and then he would have been out.
A lot of time behind Max.
Yes. Yeah. But it is what it is. So lap 39 and now lap 42, George pits 3.3 seconds, still in front of Max. Hard tyres, clear. And by this point, we knew that George was probably going to win the race. George had it clear from the beginning. He knew what he was going to do, and he was laughing about it before the race started. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He knows with Spain, he knows with Canada. Once you get lights out of the way we go, it's not a long straight. You get into that corner, you've done it. So lap 48, box. Lando comes in for the second tires, put the hard tires on. Piastri getting close to Antonelli as well. So we thought he was only 6/10 behind Antonelli. And all of a sudden, what happens? These black markers come out of nowhere and ruin the race. Piastri was in DRS zone of Kimi Antonelli, and all of a sudden, these about 4 or 5 black markers cost Piastri the time. Piastri was coming back at him, and he was getting close again. But the only thing about it, what happened? Lando Norris, when he pitted on lap 48, he had the nice, clean, and fresh tires. So he was chasing down Piastri.
And he got sector 1, 2, and 3, all fastest as well.
Exactly. The fastest sector in 1, 2, and 3. He was smashing it. And then by this time, you had the two McLarens fighting each other, basically. Now, this is where my opinion on it. I haven't asked you about it, so this is my opinion. We know eventually they crashed. Lando was out the race, last points. Think he came out all right, actually. Oscar Piastri was fine. The yellow flag come out, the safety car. We know the race finished under a safety car. And for me, this was McLaren's fault. Now, it was obvious for me that Lando was the fastest car out of the two. He had the reason why he had the fact because he had the newer tyres. He was chasing Piastri, and I think he would have had a better chance at catching Antonelli. Now, this is what McLaren should have done. The guy should have come out on the radio and said either two things. He should have said, Lando, stay behind Oscar. Don't try and overtake him. Stay behind him. We're going to finish like this. Good points. We'll move to the next one. Or he should have said to Oscar Piastri, if Lando was faster, because I thought he was faster, but they've got all the data in it. They've got the analysis. They've got the data. We don't know. They know more than us. But if he was faster, they should have said to Lando, no, it's okay, Lando. And Oscar, let Lando overtake you. Let him try and catch Antonelli. And if he can't catch Antonelli, swap back at the end. You get me? So Oscar gets his position back.
That's what he should have said. Stupid stuff from McLaren, just like last year.
Yeah.
Like last year. Of course, there's less like the pilot this year because, you know,
they've got a massive gap there.
They've got an absolutely big gap. It's going to be quite hard to catch up the gap from McLaren. But I don't understand. It was a simple solution.
Yeah.
If Piastri would have still had the pace to keep with Norris, swap them back. Simple. You know, there's no. You know, it's fair play. It's fair play. Look, Norris can't catch Antonelli in time. Let Piastri go through so he gets his race back. It's simple. But McLaren don't think like that. I do. They just think of like pure racing. But I don't know. It's stupid papaya rules.
That's how it ended. Right. What do you think of it, Toto? Overall, the race weekend. What did you think of it before we wrap up?
Good. A lot of action in the race. A lot of pit strategy, which I'm a decent fan of. I don't want to support, one-stop race and then just go all the way. I hate races like that. I like action in the pit lane. Of course, we had Albon going out, the collision between the two McLarens. So look, it was good, man. And the back markers, being a factor there in terms of in the race. The practice session was all right. The only practice I caught was FP2. That's the only practice session I've caught. I'm not really a big fan of the practice sessions, but you can get in for the practice sessions. The overall weekend, I'll give it 8 out of 10, not even 9 out of 10, something like that. It was a good weekend, man. I liked it.
I'm going to try and get the final results up on the screen so we can wrap up and go. Just for the people listening on audio, I'm just going on the F1 website and I'll get the final results of the race. And then we'll finish it off. And then we'll end it for this weekend because there's no more races now. For 2 weeks, we're just going to be talking about football transfers. And I'm going to be covering the watch-alongs for the Club World Cup as well. So let's bring this up on the screen. And for the listen to the audio, I'm going to say every name. so you guys can hear it, or girls, whoever's listening. So this is the final position of the races, and we're going to go for it. We'll do this, and we'll do the constructors as well. So first, George Russell, second, Max Verstappen, third, Antonelli, Kimi Antonelli, first, podium. Big up to him, one of many. Fourth, Piastri, fifth place, Leclerc, sixth place, Hamilton, seventh place, Alonso, eighth place, Hockenberg, ninth place, Ocon, 10th place, Sainz, 11th place, Bierman, 12th place, Tsunoda, 13th place, Colapinto, 14th place, Bortello, 15th place, Gasly, 16th place, Hadjar, 17th place, Stroll, 18th place, Norris, and the two ones that didn't finish is Norris, Lawson, and Albon. And then we're going to do the constructors.
Big points of us.
Let's do the drivers first. Piastri on top, 198. Second, the Cameron's points, Norris. He lost second, 176. You know what I mean? 86, 96. He's lost 22 points behind his teammate now. He's still doable, though. He can still get it. There's a lot of seasons ago. Max Verstappen, he's on third in 155. So he's still got a decent gap on Max Verstappen, to be fair. He's still got a 21-point gap on Max Verstappen. So that's something at least. You get me? They say there was close. You know what? You know what it is? He's lucky that Max Verstappen got a point last race when he got a point. If it weren't for that, he'd be right on his tail. But he's what it is. He deserved the point. Really, should have got black flag. Really. Fourth place, we got Russell. Russell's catching up. Max still not yet, but getting there. Fifth place, Leclerc. Sixth place, Hamilton with 79 points. Seventh place, Antonelli. With 63. 8th place, Albon with 42. 9th place, Ocon with 22 points. 10th place, Hadjar with 21 points. 11th place, Hockenberg with 20 points. 12 points, Stroll with 14 points. 13 points, Sainz with 13 points. 14th, Gasly with 11 points. In 15th place, we've got Tsunoda with 10 points. And 16th place, Alonso with 8 points. 17th place, Bierman with 6 points. And 18th place, Lawson with 4 points. And Bortello, Colapinto, and Dorhan are yet to receive points. So let's do the constructors. So we've got the constructors. It's over. McLaren have won it. So McLaren's 374. Yeah. McLaren second, first with 374. Mercedes second with 199. Ferrari third place with 183. Red Bull. You know why Red Bull are fourth place? Because of Tsunoda. Fourth place, Red Bull, 162 points. Fifth place, Williams with 55. Haas, 6. It's nice to have Williams there, fifth place. They use it at the bottom, near the bottom, innit?
They've improved so much.
I know. Sixth place, Haas with 28 points. Seventh place, Red Bull 2.0, 28 points. Eighth place, Aston Martin, 22 points. That's terrible. Ninth place, Sauber with 20 points. And 10th place at the bottom, Alpine. So that's the end of the review, guys. Remember, guys, before we go, remember to smack the like button and like the video, and also subscribe to the channel as well. And Toto, before we go, and by the way, the audio as well, the people listening on the audio podcast, Spotify and iTunes, remember, and Stitcher as well, remember to like it and recommend it and leave a comment as well. Feedback is so essential for our audio. Toto, before we go, what are you saying before we go?
People on the podcast, thanks for listening. If you are watching the replay, thanks for listening as well. But overall weekend, enjoyed it this weekend actually. It was a good track. Canadian, one of my favourite tracks.
Yeah. Very good.
But yeah, a lot of overtaking as well, which from Monaco, I needed some more overtaking, man. That two-stop mandatory did absolutely nothing in my opinion. Still the same, still boring. But look, Canada, amazing weekend, and hopefully next weekend, which is, I think it's Austin. Is it Austin or Texas or Florida?
Yeah. No, Austria.
Austria.
I love Austria.
Austria's an amazing track as well. A lot of overtaking. But yeah, overall, really good.
Yeah, so that's it then. Tomorrow, we're going to be back tomorrow around about 1. It's going to be about 1 o'clock, or around about that 2 o'clock. We're going to be talking about some football stuff. So anyway, see you later, guys. Big up to you. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Remember to do the audio of the channel. Big up to you guys. Big up. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And let's start this. See you later, guys. F1 2025, the debrief, episode 56, round 10, Canadian GP review in the bag. Boom.